All right, we're back for another week, and the happy hour is getting ready to get going. David Arnette is down at the beach. Obviously, I came back from 3 weeks almost gone. Half a week in California and 2 in Asia. We're going to talk about that coming up. And hopefully David's going to join us. Michael Bruno, how are you? Good to see you. And let's see if we can get David to put his can or bottle down, and let's talk some real estate here. Hope everybody had a good week. The market is hot as the weather is here in Birmingham, and so we're really excited about that. Just not a lot of inventory. Hey, Ruby, greetings to you in the Philippines. Thanks for your hospitality. We're going to talk about it, but if you haven't had the opportunity to visit the Philippines, they're some of the finest people as a whole that you'll meet anywhere in the world. They're phenomenal. There's David. Let's see. David, let me see if I can get you on here. Let's see. Here we go. Add David. All right. Here we go. Let's see. Hope he has a shirt on. There he is. How are you?
Man, doing good. How you doing?
Good, man. I'm glad you wore a shirt because that was going to scare me.
I know, right? It's kind of bright out here.
It got the shades going.
Can you see everything good?
I see all those balconies. Yes.
Good.
Well, how's everything going down there?
Man, everything's been really good, really nice. It's been hot last couple of days. First part of the week was perfect, but man, it's been hot the past couple of days.
Now, where are you?
In Orange Beach.
Hey, Brady Eldridge said you better smile today.
Hey, I'm working on it, man. I can't help but smile down here, man. It's beautiful. So how's the Philippines?
Man, I tell you, life-changing trip over to the Philippines, and I tell you, I was mentioning it earlier. You know, we hit nice drink there. We hit the Philippines, Singapore, and Malaysia, but I tell you, Trey Fava Koozie.
Got the Fava group representing.
I'm telling you, it was life-changing. I've never seen a nicer, more giving people than the Filipino people. Amanda and I came back changed from that because it put a lot of life in perspective, if you will, about what we do every day, and just phenomenal. I want to thank Ruby Rain, everybody over there that we met. Narisa, if you're watching this, just phenomenal stuff. And we want to, if anybody's looking to hire abroad some folks to help them in their business, you won't find a better people and more giving people than the Filipino people.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now, didn't you spend part of your trip in Singapore?
Yeah. Hey, Singapore, they're eating a piece of grass out of place. They're eating a piece of trash on the ground because the first fine's $2,000. So, man, it's tough. But I'm telling you, it was amazing. It basically, if you can build it, they will, because they got lots of money. But phenomenal. The airport over there called Changi Airport. We spent 3.5 hours just touring the airport because it has swimming pool. It has, movie theater, butterfly garden. I mean, just on and on, restaurants. And then for you, they had a place to get a cold beer. That was phenomenal. Malaysia, we went to the top of the Petronas Towers, which is the tallest twin tower in the world, number 11 in the world. So that was a lot of fun. 15 hours, we were nervous about Julia, our 8-year-old, on a 15-hour flight, but I think it was harder on us. We're getting older.
Man, that's awesome. That sounds like a great trip, and saw a lot of good people. Glad you got to catch up with Ruby. That's awesome.
Man, so awesome.
We tried to keep the happy hour going last couple of weeks without you, but just not the same without you, buddy.
Thank you. Well, we're back here and we got everything running, but I will tell you, Amanda really did get mad at me one time because I pulled a Clark Griswold and decided that we were going to live like Japanese people. And so I booked a Japanese style hotel room. And my 8-year-old, it was how basically she could touch the ceiling and you slept on the floor. And needless to say, Amanda was not too happy with me for about an hour when we got there. But
it sounds exciting.
Yes, but I mean,
I'm surprised we don't have more pictures from that.
Rome, win in Tokyo, live like a Tokyoan.
When in Tokyo, you've got to do Tokyoan things.
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to tell everybody, because you and I have talked about the credit cards in the past and what different ones to get. The priority pass that comes with a lot of the paid cards saved our rear end, man. Lounge access, because 8-year-old eats everything, and Mama and Daddy may want a glass of wine or a cold beer, and it's free with the priority pass that comes with a credit card. So, And by the way, David, we have two folks asking, where's Courtney?
Oh, she is back up in the room. Actually, I wasn't sure where we were going to do this. I'd rather be up in the condo shooting it, but the only good signal that we had was down here on the beach, so I had to come back down. And the rest of the gang, the kids, and everybody are upstairs. It's Thursday, and we've been down here all week, so they're kind of worn out by now. And with as hot as it is today, it's even harder to stay out here a long time. But yeah, we're having a good time.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll get back here with some money, right? Yeah, you won't spend it all down there.
Yeah.
Well, hey, wanted to talk about, before we get into real estate real quick, you and I like to talk a lot about finance stuff. And one thing is, hello to my mother. My mother is watching, David. So
hey, Patsy.
Hello. That's right. Anyway, Clark Howard.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, isn't it, Brady? I know. It's tough.
Rough life. Well, I was gotten some questions over the last before I left about, and in fact got one the other day from a friend and guy that watches the Happy Hour, was asking about debit cards and the use, every day about that, because they hear us talking about credit cards, those type things, and why we would say that over a debit card. And Clark Howard, who you and I both love, he calls them piece of trash, fake Visa and fake MasterCards. And he does so for a reason, because we really got to caution everybody from using on a regular basis. I understand a lot of folks are trying to get into the Dave Ramsey system of not using credit and that sort of thing. But one of the problems is, especially if you go to the beach like you are, you're on the road, the protections that you have legally, just because it says Visa on the logo doesn't mean you have the same federal legal protections. And so be real careful about that. And also, and you've talked about this, I've talked off the air about this, which is cash is powerful when you have it in your wallet, and once you've spent all that cash, it's gone. And I've seen you in a casino, maybe once or twice at a roulette table, and they don't give you cash. They give you chips for a reason, don't they?
Yeah, I wish there was some price protection on the roulette table. That'd make things a lot easier. But yeah, I didn't realize until I read some of that stuff or listened to some of the stuff that Clark Howard was doing, how much difference there is between the debit and the credit card. I mean, the debit card are really pointless. I mean, you have no protection over spending, and if anybody gets a hold of it, they're wiping your account out.
Hey, Michael Bruno says he sees Courtney at the balcony. I think she's throwing all your stuff over the edge, though.
Yeah, she might be up there somewhere. If you can see over there.
I mean, you'd think she'd log on here and see her man on the air here, right?
I don't know. It's not like you do anything else.
Yeah, they're waiting on you to probably go to dinner.
But yeah, I think the credit card protections are a big deal.
I do too. Especially, and if you're worried about fraud and all that, how would you like the fraud when you use a debit card? That thing's tied right to your checking account. And so when they commit fraud, you're relying on the bank to put the money back.
Yeah, and if you're going to argue transactions on your cards, the debit cards don't do anything to help you with that, do they?
No. And because they don't have the same Visa protections, because what Visa's had to do, and MasterCard as well over the years, is with government regulation, has had to negotiate some of these protections into their agreements. And what they've done is, this is where we do want some government oversight, right? So that that when you go overseas, that you'll be protected as long as you use that credit card.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, all right, man. Well, talk to us a little about what's going on in the mortgage market right now. What are rates and where we see
Yeah.
everything going?
Okay. So mortgage rates have not changed a whole lot this past week. Right now, 30-year fix is still about 4.5%, about 4.5. 15-year rates are around 4%. And I want to talk a little bit about just the difference. I know we had mentioned that rates have moved up since the end of last year, from about 4% on a 30-year fix to 4.5 now. And on a $200,000 mortgage, just to give you a little bit of context here, the monthly payment is about $60 a month higher from that.
Wow.
4% to 4.5.
Wow,
So not earth shattering, but definitely, going to hit the pocketbook and affect your monthly budget as these rates continue to climb. I know there was some interesting research you put together this week for some first-time home buyers, and roughly 93% of first-time home buyers now are the age 21 to 35.
Yeah, it's a big spread.
Yeah.
But they're buying. They're the largest share of buyers right now. Here's the thing. They want what they want, right? So they're going to try to get it in a market that's really, really tight.
Yeah, and I think, I think the other thing is, I hear there's a lot of positives in the economy. I mean, obviously the stock market's doing well, and there's a couple of stocks I want to talk about later on. But, people are making money there. People are making money in the 401ks. Wages are going up. So, you look at these rates and you look at the increase, and I know there's some stats out there. This guy was saying it's going to be 5.6% before the first-time home buyers pull out, which, that's another full point jump. That will affect monthly budgets. But, we got these other things going up, wages going up, investments going up. So, I think there's still benefits to home ownership, and I think right now those are outweighing the interest rate changes.
But what are you finding is a challenge, though, with so many first-time home buyers, especially in this age range? Obviously, at the lower end of that range, what are the biggest obstacles you're finding for those people to get into a mortgage?
I think the biggest obstacle right now for those first-time home buyers is just education, and it's information. A lot of people are not aware of their options on a conventional loan for 3% down, 5% down, 10% down, and a lot of people are still leery of mortgage insurance, even though mortgage insurance has always had a negative connotation. Tyler Young, I appreciate it, man. I guess I just got lucky this year. But no, I don't live at the beach. I'll be back on Saturday and back in the office Monday, and we'll be working. But hold
on,
man, I tell you,
there, David. You've been working there, because I can tell you this much: he's closed 2 guys for us this week. You've pre-approved a couple other ones, so you've been working.
Man, I tell you, the best day down here was Sunday, and ever since then, the workload has increased every day. So even though you don't want to work while you're here, it's still a good problem to have. But yeah, I think the benefits of home ownership is going to outweigh these increases.
Well, yeah. Have y'all noticed a wage increase amongst the starting wages amongst these first-time home buyers?
Yeah, a little bit. I think the biggest thing is just knowing your options, understanding how the mortgage insurance works, knowing that you don't have to have 20% down to get into a mortgage, and the rates are still really low now. So there's still a lot of options for people out there, and you just need to call somebody and get some information and figure out what works best for you.
Well, with the supply shortage right now, what is your advice of positioning their budgeting? Because right now, what I've been telling folks is, instead of a $250,000 going to the highest part of your budget, let's look at houses that are $230,000 to $240,000, so that we can give ourselves some room, so we're not blowing past the budget if we get in a competitive situation and need to boost our offer a little bit more to get the house that we want.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you need to give yourself some room there, some leverage, flexibility. I would just say, I think some people right now are worried with the low inventory that they're going to just run out and buy the first house that comes on the market. And, obviously you don't want to do that. You still want to buy the house for the reasons that you're looking and the things that you like and want in your new home.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's just harder to find it, isn't it? And you saw last time we talked together, it was the interest rates were kind of pulling back. They had gone over 4.5. They pulled back under 4.5. What are we looking at now? And are we still going to see that as we head into the late summer, early fall? Are we still planning on seeing a growth into the 5% range?
Yeah, I think rates are still, the overall trend is still up, obviously. And, as we get through the middle of this year, we moved up fast early on, and now we're halfway through, and we're at about 4.5 with expectations of 5% by the end of the year. So we made a big move early, but we're still kind of on course for that 5% by the end of the year, maybe, and sitting at 4.5 here in July. So the trend is definitely still up, but not moving quite as fast as we were early on this year.
Well, that certainly is good. It's funny that what we need in this market, though, is we need as many houses because the inventories are low, and that I can't talk, right? And I haven't even been at the beach having beverages, but current market conditions here in Birmingham, we talked about it earlier, very low inventory. In fact, we're at some of the lowest inventories relative to this time of year, because this is typically a very hot time of the year. And this is, year over year, we've noticed that there was a 14% decrease. So 14% less houses on the market at the end of June than it was 1 year ago.
14% less.
Yeah.
Wow. And we've had this inventory problem for almost the better part of a year. So, that's a big drop.
And we're at the height. And what's interesting is that this is the pinnacle of our buying season. So what's really interesting, though, is that this is an odd, and I've talked to agents from all over the country, and everybody's experiencing this, is that heavy momentum. See, the problem is we have tons of buyers. We just don't have any houses to sell them on scale, that is.
Yeah.
And we're rolling into the fall. It's going to be really interesting to see how this affects things, because what is interesting, as you have another drink, is the fact that median and average sales prices are up 7% year over year because of demand that this low inventory has caused.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, the demand problem is going to continue to be there. The low inventory is going to cause problems, but eventually, once we see this, break up and some houses come on the market, it's going to be, really busy for our business.
Bro, no, you're right. And what's other thing is home sales. Yes, I forgot that part. David's always the one to have a beer. 2% less sales from June of last year to June of this year, which is pretty fascinating at this point of the buying season, because we normally don't see this, and it's not, again, because people aren't buying houses. It's merely because there's no houses to sell them that they want.
Yeah, absolutely. You got multiple offers, and you got people fighting over the same house, but they're still in the market, though.
David, one other stat that was really interesting was the foreclosures. I mean, in over a decade, we're at 5% last month of all the sales were foreclosures. That's market wide, and that is such a low number. To put it in perspective, we were sitting at any one time, at any one month, around 30%, probably 2009, 2010, somewhere in there, and now we're at 5%. That's just crazy that the banks aren't, because I know people aren't paying the mortgage still, and yet we're still having that low of inventory, where 5% would be a very low number.
Yeah, and I think that's an indication of the inventory problem also, because you don't have as many foreclosures on the market. You don't have as many buyers moving. I mean, obviously that would be a negative reason for adding inventory, but you know,
I think
the rates going up as well also is contributing to people staying put.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You and I had talked about it. We really thought that a lot of these folks were going to have to refi this year because they went into that 5-year deal with the mortgage modification. We thought that they weren't going to be able to pay it. And obviously, maybe if they aren't, they're not getting foreclosed on, but maybe we'll see it. And, you know, you may sense that I'm sitting there saying it's kind of like, oh, great, I hope some people don't. But here's the thing: we know some people won't, and we do need that inventory to push our market even higher.
Yes, yeah. Anytime we can get more inventory, especially as these rates rise, people or buyers are going to be a little more antsy to make a move. So, you know, anytime there's new inventory coming on, it's going to help.
If anybody that's in Birmingham is watching, the southern region, which stretches from downtown down to Collier, down to Chelsea. Hey, Tara, I hope you're doing well. In Bentonville, Arkansas, the best realtor in Arkansas is watching right now. Tara is an awesome lady. Used to live in Hoover, by the way. But the area that goes from downtown down to Collier, down to Chelsea, that area, strongest in our market, average sales prices of $328. And virtually non-existent foreclosures. I mean, hardly any. Narissa, hey Narissa, she's a fantastic lady in Corona. David, this is the girl I was telling you about that's going to give you a tour of the islands of the Philippines. So say hello to Narissa, David.
Hello, Narissa. Rick Knotts is on. Rachel Kelly's on. R. Kelly up front.
Hey.
She filled in and helped us out a couple of weeks ago. It was awesome.
She's right over there too. But
man, listen, hey, before we move on, I just wanted to highlight a few stocks, man. Today, Facebook hitting 207.
Wow,
that's a big number for Facebook. Amazon up to $1,800 a share. Netflix over $400 a share. So there's been a lot of movement in the stock market last week, and a lot of these stocks are at 52 or all-time highs, and
right.
It's just a big movement in the stock market right now.
What about Netflix? Are you still high on Netflix?
Man, Netflix is just really, they have taken every hurdle that's come their way and just kept churning. They are making money, and the stock is doing great. $414 a share today. That's surprising.
Hey, well, I tell you this much, David. If everybody had taken our advice and taken our stock picks and not bought and sold like I did, I bought, made some money, sold them, and just held on. WWE, Appfolio, man, they'd be rich.
Yep. Yeah. Buy and hold. People tell me buy and hold is the best strategy. A lot of people like to play the swings and to get in and out because it's not exciting to buy and hold, but that's where you make your big money.
It is. And I tell you, I think we're all scared. And if you're scared to get into the market with your 401k, get into the market. You're never going to time it right. You're just never going to time it right.
Yeah. Yeah. If you go with a buy and hold, you are going to do well because time will always win over timing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, we are going to call it a day, and safe travels back to Birmingham, and y'all have a good time.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it, man.
All right. We'll see everybody same time, 4 o'clock next Thursday here on the Real Estate Happy Hour. See you later.
See you guys.